Chapter 1. After scheduling my abortion for tomorrow, I returned home. 6 years ago, we got our marriage certificate, and back then, he personally promised to give me a grand, one-of-a-kind wedding. At that time, my mother, despite being gravely ill, handmade a wedding dress for me. Tomorrow was supposed to be our wedding day, and today was the rehearsal. But all I saw at the banquet hall were wedding photos of him and his childhood sweetheart on social media. I finally understood that constant compromise and tolerance wouldn't bring happiness. Victor walked in with a cold expression, seeing me sitting on the sofa without immediately greeting him. His frown deepened. "Why are you being so unreasonable now? Lily, just a naive girl, was kind enough to try on the wedding dress for you. Why are you throwing a fit for no reason?" I lifted my head and glanced at him indifferently, then continued canceling our honeymoon trip on my phone. My fault. Hearing my dismissive tone, Victor's face grew even darker, but he didn't notice anything wrong with me, only assuming I was throwing a childish tantrum. With a loud bang, the simple gift box in his hand was tossed to the ground. The sound of shattering porcelain echoed. I glanced down and saw that it was a pair of porcelain swan ornaments. I had seen them before. They weren't expensive. Just a free gift with a set of luxury pink dinnerware. "Lily picked this gift for you so thoughtfully, Victoria, but someone as filthy-minded as you doesn't deserve her kindness." Faced with his accusations, the old me would have panicked, apologized, and begged for another chance. I used to love him so humbly, throwing away every ounce of my self-respect just for a little affection from him. I once thought that I couldn't survive without him. Now, I know I can live just fine, even without him. "Then take it with you." I rubbed my temples, not wanting to argue with him any further. I got up, intending to head to the guest room, but he grabbed my wrist tightly. "Victoria, this is the last time I'll tell you. Are you a dog? Why do you always feel the need to mark your territory? How many times have I told you I hate your selfish and greedy personality?" I looked at him, exhausted, just wishing he'd let me go so I could rest. "So, I'm setting you free now." He still wanted to continue questioning me, but his phone rang at that moment. The screen flashed with his childhood sweetheart's name. He answered, and Lily's high-pitched, sweet voice came through. His expression softened instantly. He shot me a disdainful glance and stepped aside with the phone. I couldn't hear what was being said on the other end, but the smile on Victor's face was sweet. Okay, I get it." Suddenly, I wanted to know how much I still mattered to Victor. So, just before he left, I asked him directly, "Tomorrow is our wedding day. Where are you going now?" Victor's expression turned a little sour. "I'm going to pick up the wedding rings for tomorrow." "Victoria, you're an adult now. Can you stop being so unreasonable?" Maybe he was right. In the past, I lacked a sense of security, always needing to ask him exactly where he was going whenever he left. I was just worried about him. That's all. We were both too busy defending ourselves. But I said, "Then take me with you." Victor gave me a look, as if to say I knew it. "You're hopeless." He shoved past me and left. I followed him, rubbing my slightly aching abdomen, and got into the car. In the front passenger seat, there were several girly trinkets. I only glanced at them briefly before leaning back in my seat, closing my eyes to rest. Victor seemed surprised by my silence. He pressed his lips together, reluctantly explaining, "Lily hasn't been feeling well lately, so I've been giving her more rides." If this had been in the past, I might have cried and thrown a tantrum, demanding that he remove all those things. But now, I just responded with a simple It didn't matter anymore. Chapter 2. When we arrived at the jewelry store, I noticed that Victor seemed distracted, constantly checking his phone. It was already late. I asked the clerk to retrieve the jewelry set I had left for repair. Just then, Victor's phone rang again. Whatever was said on the other end, he walked away with the phone, forgetting I was still in the store. "Where are you going?" I called after him. Victor didn't even turn around, replying impatiently, "I'll be back in a bit." I looked at the gloomy sky outside and swallowed all the words I wanted to say. There was no point in stopping him. It had always been like this. One word from his childhood sweetheart could call him away in the dead of night. even on the anniversary of my mother's death, one of the hardest days of my life. After picking up my jewelry, the rain had started to fall outside. I had planned to hail a cab, but I ended up slipping and falling hard on the ground. A sharp pain shot through my abdomen, so intense I couldn't even get up. Luckily, a kind young woman helped me to my feet and took me home. I clutched the jewelry box tightly in my arms, curled up on the bed, and endured the worst of the pain alone. At that moment, Victor stormed into the guest room with a cold expression. Seeing me lying on the bed, he immediately exploded in anger. "What's wrong with you? Didn't I tell you to wait for me there? Do you have any idea how long I've been looking for you? Why are you always so selfish?" Chapter 3. I was so angry that my vision momentarily went black. Over the years, he's always been like this. Even when it wasn't my fault, he would insist that it was, stabbing me with his words regardless of the truth. With each compromise I made, he only became more unreasonable. "I've been back for less than 10 minutes. I was waiting for you at the store before that." My calm expression must have thrown Victor off, making him uncomfortable. For a brief moment, guilt flickered across his face. Then, as if remembering something, he stormed outside and came back with a cardboard box. "I brought the wedding dress back for you." She just tried it on for a moment. "Is that really worth getting angry over?" He threw the box onto the floor, and I saw the crumpled dress inside. "Tried it on? Who wears someone else's wedding dress and takes pictures with someone else's husband the day before the wedding?" I scrolled through my social media feed. A pair of intertwined hands. On their ring fingers were matching, sparkling wedding bands. The caption read, "Just right." Those were the rings I designed, unique in the entire world. But now, they were on someone else's fingers, just like my wedding dress, stained and violated. There's no need to be upset. It's not going to be used anyway. I stood up, intending to pack away the dress, but he grabbed my wrist. "What do you want now? I gave you the wedding you wanted. You should be satisfied. I've told you countless times. Lily is just like a sister to me. Why are you always so jealous of her? Look at yourself, pale as a ghost. Why did I ever marry someone like you?" He forcefully pressed me against the vanity. The woman in the mirror was pale, gaunt, with swollen red eyes. She didn't resemble the old me at all. "It won't happen again. From now on, whatever the two of you want to do, do it. It has nothing to do with me anymore." I had finally given up completely, but Victor thought I was just sulking, trying to play some manipulative game. The only thing left in his eyes was disgust and impatience. "That won't work on me." "Fine. I'll tell you the truth. Tomorrow's wedding will be an apology to Lily on your behalf. It's all because of your petty jealousy that Lily got sick. You're the one responsible, and you'll have to pay for that. That's the price you owe." I lay against the cold vanity, staring into the mirror at Victor's hatred for me. 6 years. I had fought with him countless times, quarreled over his childhood sweetheart again and again. But in the end, all I ever received were his abandonment, his accusations, and his misplaced anger. This isn't what real love is supposed to be. Constantly lowering my standards only brought me more pain. I struggled to free my hand from his grip and looked back at him. "Haven't I paid enough already? Victor, you know that was the wedding dress my mother made for me. It was her keepsake to me." I fought back tears. Ever since my mother passed away, the memories I had left of her were growing fewer and fewer. I had given all my mother's assets to him, except for this wedding dress, which I had carefully preserved. He, of all people, knew what that dress meant to me, but he still did this. Victor pressed his lips together, but in the end, he said nothing and slammed the door on his way out. I collapsed onto the bed. Then I called my lawyer. I want a divorce. That night, Victor didn't come home. Instead, I received a video from his childhood sweetheart. In it, the two of them lay on a bed, their clothes disheveled. The woman was tightly wrapped in Victor's arms, full of possessiveness. "Old woman, what do you have to fight me with?" How ridiculous. I immediately saved the video as evidence of Victor's infidelity. This man? I don't need him anymore. Chapter 4. I thought I would have trouble sleeping, but instead, I slept through the entire night. Victor's call woke me up. "Get ready. I'll pick you up to go to the hotel soon." Today was supposed to be our wedding day, yet I felt like a stranger. I packed a few things, planning to go to the hospital instead, but as soon as I stepped outside, I saw Victor's car. He was laughing and chatting with the woman in the passenger seat. But when he saw me, his expression darkened. Do you even know what day it is today? Lily smirked at me with a mocking smile. Sis, you're not blaming me, are you? Actually, that old, ugly dress didn't suit me at all. It's much more fitting for a woman like you. This wasn't the first time she'd taunted me, but every time we argued, Victor would never take my side. He'd always stand above it all, reprimanding me for stooping to argue with a young girl. I glanced at the short white wedding dress Lily was wearing. That dress really does suit you. Well, I'll just congratulate you both in advance on a long and happy marriage. It was only then that Victor seemed to notice Lily's outfit. Uncomfortably, he loosened his collar and urged me to hurry. Get in the car already. If we're any later, we'll miss the time. Did he really expect me to go through with this ridiculous wedding? Thinking of the guests I had invited, I rubbed my temples and opened the backseat door. The entire ride, Lily chatted with Victor about the wedding arrangements. I closed my eyes to rest, while Victor seemed distracted. When we arrived at the hotel, I couldn't believe what greeted me. A giant poster of the photo Lily had posted on her social media. Lily was holding onto Victor's arm, her smile radiant and filled with happiness. But Victor turned to look at me, his mouth opening as if to say something, but no words came out. I had no idea what he wanted to say, but I walked into the hotel first. I had once dreamed of our wedding day, filled with anticipation. I had personally designed every aspect of the ceremony, but now, the elegant and romantic champagne color scheme had been replaced with a girly pink theme. It was obvious whose preference that was. As soon as I walked in, the guests turned to look at me, especially Lily's parents, who were sitting in the bride's seat. Their smug expressions were truly an eyesore. Victoria, what's going on? Why is the wedding poster of Victor and another woman? My best friend Monica stormed over, fuming with anger. I knew she was upset on my behalf, but it didn't matter anymore. I patted her hand gently. The bride has changed. It's not me. I'm finally free. Victor, who had been following closely behind me, suddenly grabbed me and pulled me in front of him. What do you mean by that? I pointed at the screen, which was now showing intimate photos of him and Lily. Today is your wedding with Lily. As your ex-wife, I've chosen to offer my respect and congratulations. Chapter 5. For the first time, Victor's face showed panic, but soon enough, he regained his usual composure. What wedding? This is something you owe to Ching Ching. It's because of your petty jealousy that Lily got sick. The doctor said the only way to help her recover was to fulfill her wishes. So I arranged all of this. It's all part of her treatment. There was a hint of expectation in his eyes, probably hoping I would compromise like I used to. But I simply pulled my hand back and took a step away from him. I understand. Victor looked surprised by my response. Just as he was about to step closer, Lily hooked her arm through his. Victor, the ceremony is about to start. We should go get ready. She turned her gaze to me, a mocking glint shining in her eyes. Big sister is so magnanimous. Surely she wouldn't want to ruin someone else's wedding, right? My condition is still unstable. If anyone tries to upset me, I can't promise what might happen. Then, she smiled sweetly at Victor. Victor, why don't we make her my bridesmaid? I'd love for her to witness our happiness together. Monica was on the verge of ripping Lily's face off, but for my sake, she held back. I sneered as I looked at Victor. Is this what you think too? Victor seemed a little displeased, but as someone used to indulging Lily's every whim, he still said to me, this is just part of her treatment. Cooperate, will you? Besides, if it weren't for you, Lily wouldn't have gotten sick. This is what you owe her. Monica couldn't hold back anymore and stepped in front of me. Using a wedding as a treatment? You're really generous to your dear little sister. And don't act like everyone's a fool. Anyone can see you two are more than just friends. This is the first time I've seen someone so brazen about their affair. Truly eye-opening. Monica didn't lower her voice at all, and our argument had already started attracting the attention of the people nearby. Seeing this, Lily deliberately nestled into Victor's arms. Victor, Did I really do something wrong? I just wanted Big Sister Victoria to share in our happiness. For Victor. Nothing upset him more than Lily's tears. He might have hesitated before, but now, he pushed Monica aside and forcibly dragged me toward the dressing room. Why do you always have to blame others for your mistakes? I told you. This is just part of her treatment. Hurry up and change, or don't blame me for what happens next. I finally couldn't hold back any longer and shook off his hand. Treatment? Victor, are you lying to me? Or are you lying to yourself? Today was supposed to be our wedding, but here you are, playing house with another woman. Do I really need to spell out what's going on in your head? It seemed my words struck a nerve, and Victor's actions became even more forceful. He practically dragged me toward the dressing room. I'm just friends with Lily. Your mind is filthy. You'll apologize to her, or we're getting divorced. Let go of me. I struggled, but this time Victor had made up his mind. With a loud bang, I stumbled and slammed my stomach hard against a table. The pain was excruciating, but he didn't seem to care. Victor! My voice was filled with agony. He finally stopped, but what he saw was my white dress rapidly being stained with blood. We're getting divorced. With that, I lost the strength to stand and collapsed to the floor. Chapter 6. In an instant, chaos erupted. Victor's eyes seemed to turn red, stained by the sight of my blood. For the first time, he lost all of his calm composure and frantically held me in his arms. But even then, he still believed I was pulling some kind of stunt to delay the wedding. Victoria, enough. I thought you had changed, but you're still hopeless. In the next moment, Monica rushed over and slapped Victor hard across the face. Are you blind? Can't you see she's bleeding? Victor, you're a monster. All these years she's given you everything, and now you insult her and trample over her just for that childhood sweetheart of yours. Who do you think you are? Without Victoria, you'd still be that poor boy begging everyone for help. I was wrong about you, but from now on, I won't let you off easily. Monica's words finally tore away the prideful mask Victor had been hiding behind all these years. She was right. Everything Victor had, he owed to me. It was as if her words had slapped him harder than her hand, and his face darkened. Monica and a few other friends quickly lifted me off the floor, but just then, Lily started crying and grabbed Victor's hand. Victor, I feel so tight in my chest. Am I going to die? Victor's eyes stayed fixed on me the whole time. When he saw that I hadn't looked at him once, he took a step toward me, but Lily clung to him again. The doctor said that if I don't get this treatment, I may never recover. Please, Victor, help me this one last time. In the end, Victor hesitated for too long. The surgery went smoothly. Still, I had suffered a lot. The surgeon was furious. What's going on with the family? The patient's body was already weak, and a blow like that could have been fatal. If she hadn't been brought in so quickly, even after the miscarriage, she would have been in serious danger. Outside the hospital room, Victor's face was pale. He staggered back a few steps before angrily storming into my room to confront me. Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant? Or is it that you never planned to have my child? His attempt to shift the blame infuriated Monica, who slapped him across the face again. Victoria was planning to surprise you with the baby as your wedding gift. You bastard! And what did you do? The day before your wedding, you let your mistress wear that wedding dress for a photo shoot. You knew how much that wedding dress meant to Victoria, yet you still deliberately hurt her. I could kill you for being such an ungrateful wretch. My friend stood between me and Victor, not allowing him to come any closer. The blood loss had left me feeling faint, and the next thing I heard after fully waking up was Victor shouting outside the door. She's my wife! Why shouldn't I be allowed to go in? Monica, of course, didn't back down. You're nothing but a cheating scumbag who got married to someone else on your own wedding day. You think you have the right to see our Victoria? Dream on! I cleared my throat. Monica, let him in. Reluctantly, Monica stepped aside, but she stayed close to me, ready to protect me. Victor looked worn out. He was still wearing the same clothes from the day before. There was guilt on his face, and just as he was about to say something, I interrupted him. Lawyer Zhang has probably contacted you already, right? The divorce papers will be sent to your office later today. Once you sign them, we'll have nothing to do with each other. Victor violently shook his head, his face filled with regret. No, Victoria. We promise to be together forever. I won't divorce you. At that moment, Lily burst in, clinging to Victor's waist. Honey, how could you leave me behind and run off? I missed you so much. Chapter 7. Before, this scene might have broken my heart, but now I just found the two of them utterly ridiculous. For the first time, Victor didn't indulge her. Instead, he frowned and pushed her away. Stop calling me that. Didn't we agree this was just to help with your treatment? Lily froze. Victor had never spoken to her so coldly before. Forcing a smile, she tried to continue playing coy. But we've already had our wedding, haven't we? Besides, I might already be carrying our baby. Lily smiled as she rubbed her stomach, as if there were actually a child inside. Victor pushed her away again, rushing to explain himself to me. It's not true. Don't listen to her. Sweetheart, I have nothing to do with her. She's the one who's been clinging to me. I was just trying to help her with her treatment. You're the only one I've ever loved. That's never changed. Ha. Victor didn't realize that his sweet little childhood friend had already sent me their intimate video. Now, I just stared at the two of them, my expression indifferent. She's right. If you've already had your wedding, then you're husband and wife. Congratulations. Victor became even more frantic in his attempts to explain. Lily clung to him tightly, making it difficult for Victor to shake her off. In the end, he suppressed his anger and dragged her out of my hospital room. Wait for me, sweetheart. I'll clear things up with her and be right back. Lily still had the audacity to taunt me like a Victor, but she didn't realize she had already lost completely. I had always known deep down that Victor was a selfish person, but I was so desperate for warmth, for someone to stay by my side, that I fell headfirst into his fake trap, constantly giving in to his manipulation and control. Victor came back shortly after. His smile was strained, his brow frequently furrowing. No matter what he said, I only had one response for him. Sign the divorce papers, and we'll be done. Each time, he reacted with intense opposition. No, we're not getting divorced. Victoria, we were so happy together. Don't leave me. I was too exhausted to watch him spiral out of control. The next day, I had my divorce lawyer bring the papers to the house. Without even glancing at them, Victor tore the agreement into pieces. But it didn't matter. I had anticipated this, so the lawyer had brought several copies. Victor finally broke down, showing vulnerability for the first time as he knelt beside my hospital bed, begging me, please, sweetheart. I know I was wrong. I was wrong about everything. I'm begging you. I can't live without you. I looked at him with a cold smile, as if I were staring at a stranger. It's not that you know you were wrong. It's that you've realized Lily isn't as sweet and innocent as you thought. And you've also realized that after the divorce, you'll lose everything you have now. Victor, it was my love that lifted you to where you are. I gave you the chance to trample on my heart. But I won't stay this humble forever. To the outside world, Victor appeared to be a successful businessman, a rising star in the corporate world. But without the support of me and my friends, he would be nothing. Victor remained on his knees, his face ashen. That's not true. I really love you. I don't even know how things got this bad. Now that I've freed myself from that shallow love, I realize that maybe Victor did love me once, but he loves the vanity that wealth brings him even more. You're afraid of losing it all. You know better than anyone that it was I who gave you all of this. So to make others forget that you climbed up by living off me, you humiliated me, and let your little childhood sweetheart become a thorn in my side. You treated me like a dog, forcing me to submit to you. Loving you was the most worthless thing I've ever done in my life. Victor, now stripped of his false facade, fled the hospital almost like a lost soul. Chapter 8. Monica finally let out a sigh of relief. Victoria, I was really scared you'd soften up and forgive him again. We've all been watching you suffer for so many years, and it always felt like you deserved so much better. I smiled weakly. Deep down, I had always known the truth, but I was too weak, too afraid to face this lonely world on my own. That's why I clung to him like a lifeline, desperate to hold on, only to drag myself further into the abyss. I thought Victor wouldn't show up anymore, but for the next 2 weeks, he surprised me by coming early every day to take care of me. Even though Monica yelled and hit him, he kept coming back, often bringing me my favorite foods, trying to coax me into eating a bit more. It felt like everything had returned to how it was at the beginning, but I knew better. We could never go back to that. On the day of my discharge, I didn't tell Victor, nor did I return to my own home. Monica, still worried about me, took me to her place to look after me. I was deeply moved by her kindness. I sent Victor a message, telling him to meet me tomorrow at 10 at the cafe below his office. If he didn't show up, I'd file for divorce. Over the years, his childhood sweetheart had been extremely bold. She had even turned their romantic life into a social media sensation, becoming a famous influencer couple. All of this had become evidence in my hands. But Victor didn't come. Victoria, give me a few more days. I promise. No one will ever come between us again. His empty promises had long lost their power over me. So, I went directly to his secretary. She was incredibly capable, and what Victor didn't know was that she was a student my mother had sponsored. She had always been on my side, but I hadn't been clear-headed enough to see it before. Miss, I'm so glad you finally reached out, she said. I felt a little guilty, but the secretary didn't blame me. Instead, she gave me a reminder. Since that wedding, the rumors about Victor and Lily have gained a lot of attention. The company's stock price has already been affected, and I expect the board will be taking some big steps soon. Our partners are feeling the strain too. It looks like Victor is going to owe a lot of money. Victor had been far too confident. After my mother passed away, I handed over most of the company's control to him. But the truth was, my shares and connections were still intact, and I wasn't just a helpless woman who relied on others to survive. Victor had severely underestimated me. Thank you for waiting for me all these years, I said to the secretary. I won't give up everything that belongs to me anymore. The secretary sighed. I understand why you struggled. Anyone who witnessed their loved one die in front of them would find it hard to recover. Miss, I've wanted to tell you for so many years, it's not your fault. Your mother was just too exhausted. Tears streamed down my face. Years ago, I watched my mother jump from a building and die right in front of me. The sight of her blood, so vivid and red, overwhelmed me. It suffocated me, and I couldn't breathe. I knew she had suffered for too long from her illness. But selfishly, I had wanted her to stay with me a little longer. That guilt and self-blame had wrapped around me so tightly that I almost lost myself completely. Thanks to the secretary's careful planning, Victor finally couldn't handle the pressure anymore. He had a huge fight with his precious childhood sweetheart. After that, Lily held a live stream. She put on her usual fragile and pitiful act, crying about how her husband had been stolen by a mistress. She even claimed she was pregnant but that her husband was determined to abandon her. She talked about how she and Victor had been childhood sweethearts and even showed pictures of them together as children, claiming to be the real Mrs. Victor. Initially, the gossip had people calling her the homewrecker, but now they turned against me, sympathizing with her. But soon after, her live stream was shut down, and her account was banned entirely. At first, I thought Monica had stepped in, but to my surprise, it was Victor who did it. Looks like things aren't so cozy between him and his little childhood sweetheart anymore, Monica joked, mocking Victor's blindness. Lily wasn't normal. In the past, to provoke me, she would send me the corpses of animals in the mail. I had told Victor about it, but he never believed me. In his eyes, Lily was always sweet and innocent, but I knew the truth. Lily was a lunatic. With everything spiraling out of control, Victor's company took a huge hit, and just as he was struggling to keep things together, someone reported him for tax evasion. Victor became the target of public scorn and was swiftly removed from his position as CEO by the board of directors. Overnight, everything he had vanished into thin air. Chapter 9. When Victor appeared in front of me again, he looked utterly defeated. Victoria, could you help me just this once, for the sake of everything we've been through? His tone was sincere, and he tried to reach for my hand, but I pulled away. By this time, I had already moved out of Monica's place and into my new home. It didn't surprise me that Victor managed to find me. I let him in, and the divorce papers lay neatly on the coffee table in the living room. Sign them. There's no point in dragging this out any longer. It won't do either of us any good. Instead of replying, Victor suddenly dropped to his knees in front of me. His emotions shattered, and he began crying and begging me. No, no divorce. You're all I have left now. Victoria, I admit I was wrong before, but it's only because I loved you too much. You're so perfect and exceptional. I was so lucky to have you, but I always felt like a thief, like I didn't deserve you. So, maybe he was telling the truth. But to me, those words were even more repulsive than a lie. You only love yourself. If you truly loved me, you wouldn't have stood by and let your childhood sweetheart humiliate and provoke me. To you, my jealousy was something to boast about. In your eyes, I was just a foolish woman, one who would believe every lie you told and be grateful for the scraps of attention you threw my way. Victor's face grew paler by the second. No, it's not like that. He lifted his head, his tear-filled eyes brimming with guilt and resentment. I do love you. I was just deceived by her. I found his words laughable. But wasn't that what you wanted all along? Didn't you know Lily was full of lies? You let me suffer because you wanted to break me, to mold me into a puppet without my own thoughts. One that could only live by depending on you. I felt a surge of emotion, not because I still loved him, but because I pitied the person I used to be. Victor stood up slowly, his head bowed. Am I really that unforgivable? Victoria? No matter what I do, you won't forgive me? I pointed at the divorce papers. Sign them now, and we can at least part ways with some dignity. But then, he suddenly looked up, a wild glint appearing in his eyes. I understand now. It's because I hurt you that you want to leave me. But that's fine, Victoria. We still have a chance. Yes, let's have another baby. You love children so much, you wouldn't leave me then. Victor lunged at me. I never expected him to be so shameless. Let go of me, Victor. If you don't stop, I'll call the police. But Victor grabbed my hands. His face contorted in pain as he stared at me. I absolutely can't let you go. Victoria, you can hate me, but I won't let go. He's lost it. I struggled with all my might, but it was useless. Victor was too strong. He had complete control over me, and I had no way to resist. Just then, Lily kicked the door open and burst in, screaming, "What are you doing?" Victor froze for a moment, then kissed my face, speaking softly, "Wait until I deal with this troublesome woman, and after that, no one will disturb us again." He pulled off his tie and bound my hands, but I saw something hidden in Lily's sleeve. She glared at me with rage, as if she were the wife who had caught me cheating. "Didn't you promise to marry me? Victor, why are you back here with this slut? She must have seduced you, clinging to you like a ghost that won't leave." Facing Lily, Victor only had hatred left. "How do you still have the nerve to show up? Lily, I made it clear from the start that I've always seen you as my sister. You were the one clinging to me, which caused misunderstandings between me and my wife. Now, get out. I don't want to see you again." Lily's face changed from its previous viciousness to one of tearful fragility. She sobbed and begged Victor, "Victor, I can't live without you. We already have a baby. Please come back with me." Victor, annoyed, pushed her away. "If you're sick, go get treated. I told you, that night was a mistake. And besides, a child born from someone like you, with mental issues, would probably be a freak." Lily was stunned. As Victor's childhood sweetheart, she had been treated like a princess by everyone after Victor became successful. She truly believed that she was Victor's true love, and that I was the third party standing in their way. So, all of her hatred was directed toward me. But now, she finally saw the coldness and cruelty of Victor. "No, it can't be." Lily held her stomach, her face filled with disbelief. "You told me I was the one you loved the most." Victor became even more agitated. He had been trying to win me back, but Lily's constant meddling was ruining his plans. "Love you? Love you for pretending to be sick? Love you for all your lies? Go get rid of that child. Consider it your apology to Victoria. Once again, Victor assumed his role as the controlling manipulator. In the past, Victor sacrificed my wedding to Lily, and now he wanted to offer Lily's child to me. But why? Wasn't he the one who had done everything wrong? Lily trembled with fury, shouting, "You're actually asking me to get rid of the baby? No, I won't." But Victor had lost all patience. He grabbed Lily by the throat and dragged her away forcefully, cursing as he went. "Do you even know what you are? If it weren't to make Victoria more obedient, I would never have used you to provoke her." The rejection of her love shattered the last bit of Lily's sanity. She pulled out a knife from her sleeve. With every ounce of her strength, she stabbed Victor's chest repeatedly. Blood splattered everywhere. Victor fell to the ground, his face twisted in agony, while his childhood sweetheart continued stabbing him with unrestrained madness. "You belong to me. You're mine. I won't let anyone take you away from me." Victor's voice faded until there was silence. Lily then turned her gaze toward me, sitting on the couch. "It's all your fault." She began walking toward me, knife in hand. I instinctively shrank back in fear, but there was a strange smile on my face. "If you kill me, Victor can stay with me forever." She stopped suddenly. In an instant, she turned the knife on herself, plunging it deep into her own chest. "You'll never take him from me, Victor. He's mine." Everything finally fell silent. I let out a piercing scream, loud enough to alert the passers-by outside. Chapter 10. Victor and Lily both met their end, thanks to the surveillance footage in the living room. Even though there was no audio, it was clear that Victor had intended to harm me. As for Lily, after killing Victor, she took her own life. Monica came to pick me up. In everyone's eyes, I was the pitiful victim. As Victor's widow, I successfully inherited all of his assets. The divorce agreement I had proposed, which called for the fair division of our property, had remained and signed by Victor. That document now served as proof of my innocence. Victor had been an orphan. It was because Lily's family had taken care of him for a while during his childhood that he treated her so differently. But he forgot that if it hadn't been for the support from me and my mother, he would have remained an ordinary man, not the feared and respected CEO he had become. Lily's parents tried to slander me online, but the truth was already known, and netizens retaliated by attacking them viciously. They became so overwhelmed that they didn't even dare to leave their house. Victor was such scum, he deserved to die. "Victoria, how about we go on a little trip in a few days to clear your mind?" Monica had been taking care of me this whole time. I smiled and nodded, then sold the house where everything had happened at a low price. It's funny, really. That house was just one street away from Lily's family home.